biggest fight of the year so far was on Saturday night, T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas. We're hearing a pay-per-view figure of around 1.5 million buys, which is incredible. And I can't think of many fights that are going to do that this year. So definitely the biggest fight of the year. In terms of a fight, though, Gareth didn't deliver. I want to go straight to the body shot, right? It's the one thing where, when fighters like to say to us, they do, don't they? You've never fought before, so what do you know? That's the one thing where I can say you are correct. I've never had a liver shot. I have no idea what it feels like. So when I see a fighter not get up from it, it's difficult for me to kind of give them stick. Although, that being said, I have seen fighters get up from them. I've seen fighters get up. And one thing about Ryan Garcia is that he got up at the count of 10. So he got up. So he could get up. It wasn't like he stayed down for another 20 seconds. So I'm split on whether or not he could have continued. I'm split on whether or not he quit, in inverted commas, for those people listening. So I'm not quite sure how to frame this one. What would you say?
Well, there's no sense for me that he's a coward, which is what people are saying about him quitting. Yes, he won the first round. The second round was a 10-8. Tank won the next 4 rounds for me.
Do you know some of the judges have the second round? 2 judges had the second round. One had it 10-9, Tank. One had it 10-10. How?
I don't get that. I do not get that in the slightest. You can score it a 10-9 if you want to, if Ryan won the round. But he did make Tank very uncomfortable. I made in my notes, it says Tank looking very uncomfortable. So 10-9, you can go with. I scored it a 10-8. It was a clean knockdown, and Tank took over the round from there. But I don't think there was any sense until that body shot that Ryan Garcia was quitting in the fight. That he was giving up. He was still launching forwards. He didn't land with
recklessly launching forward, though.
Exactly, he was, and he got more and more reckless. And because he couldn't find a way in, he succeeded with a jab every now and again. He didn't really land any of his power punches. Tank closed the space very quickly or moved away very quickly. He didn't care how ugly his holding looked. He just made sure that he got inside really quickly. And also, once he was inside, he was looking for those sneaky punches. Timing was so key for Tank. He timed Garcia. He timed him when he put him down. He timed him with the body shot. And he got himself into position. Apparently, they'd really been working on this as well, the uppercuts. And to the body, there's always been talk of a weakness to Garcia's body. His brain told his body that he either couldn't breathe or he couldn't go on, or the searing pain in his body, he couldn't recover in 9-10 seconds. Or to the count of 9 or 10.
Why then jump up at 10? Why not? If you can't recover, and I agree with you, but why then not stay down for another 20? That means you can get. He got up at 10 to say, okay, cool. And when the ref is like, yeah, fine. Why not? How can your body then jump up when the fight's off?
Yeah, like you say, that's a good argument. I can't dispute that he got up at 10. But it's still, that's why people use the word quit, because as he was down there and he's feeling that pain, he makes a decision that he's not going to go on.
That's it.
That's
it.
It's a bit like when people deny that they've been involved in something, a murder or terrorism or a crime, and they swear blind that they're not involved, but only they know. Only they know when they can't prove it.
It's so good. Like, you're right. We can all speculate. Only Ryan knows whether or not there was more in it, whether or not he quit, whether or not he was genuinely like, I can't breathe, I can't continue. Only he knows.
Yeah.
But I've seen people get poleaxed by body shots and somehow get up. Marcus Maidana, Amir Khan.
I was there. I couldn't believe it. I was there. Was it second round? I think he was knocked down.
pole at
And
his
then he came back and he gave Amir Khan hell for a round,
yes,
like late in the fight, and Amir Khan recovered and won it on points. Yeah, absolutely. And he was in absolute agony. Well, I've seen fighters come back with broken ribs. Carl Froch fight with broken ribs against Jean Pascal, taking loads of body shots. 2008 in Nottingham and come back. Those are the guys that, if Marcos Maidana and Carl Froch want to say, look, I know that pain, but you just got to suck it up and it'll go away. That's sometimes people are beaten. Maybe he was just beaten in that moment and didn't quit. I mean, I don't think he's a coward.
No. Look, anyone that steps through the ropes, I mean, it's the most hardest sport in the world. You've got to respect. But a fight of that magnitude, sometimes you just maybe got to find a bit more. You maybe got to dig a bit deeper. Look, we're going to talk about Joe Cordina a bit later. You've just got to find something. And maybe he didn't have that something. And you'll only know when you're in the moment.
Yeah.
And that was these moments to know whether he had that bit more, that extra 10%, which separates the very good from the elite. And maybe Ryan didn't have it. It's been called the savior of boxing, this fight. The numbers suggest that it probably was. We're hearing it done around 1.5 million pay-per-view buys, which in today's era of illegal streaming is an insane number. I mean, that's scary, that number. Again, it's not been confirmed, but look, everyone's happy with the numbers. What do you make of that? Does that surprise you? Did you always anticipate it would go over the million mark, which always seems to be the mark which everyone wants to get, which we don't normally hit at the moment?
It is a really big number. There's no question about it. But when you look at the love for Tank Davis within the sport, even though he's imploding outside it, he's got a court case in next week, hasn't he? So he could go to jail on 4 counts, misdemeanors in his hit and run case. And when you look at Ryan Garcia's social media accounts and his social media reach, that I think he's the most followed active boxer in the world, more than any of the heavyweights, more than anyone.
Really?
Or maybe not as big as Canelo. Maybe Canelo has more. Yeah. But he's right up there with the most followed. I don't know why he is the most followed, to be honest.
Bloody good looking.
Yeah, there's all of that. The Hollywood good looks and
he's active. He puts things out there. Unlike most fighters, he makes sure that he posts at least once a day. Doesn't muck about with that.
Yeah. He's boxing's Hollywood icon, isn't he? He's golden boys. So I think those things pointed, and you had to it being big numbers. And also last week was a fantastic build. The way they went at each other, the press conferences before, the attitude they both showed, the fact there wasn't a world title on the line, the fact that Garcia got a lot of credit going into it for pursuing Tank Davis and wanting the fight and saying, I'm the one that's going to test you. All of those things brought the great ingredients to the event. But sometimes the build-up is better than the event itself. And that's why, discussing the body shot and the mid-round stoppage, that's what was disappointing, because all the ingredients, all in that melting pot. I almost felt that if they had an epic, a classic that was scored controversially, and we got a second fight, it would be the real making of them. That they would explode as real huge mainstream stars.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, look, the Zone won't be happy, right? They were going to be the A side in the rematch, and obviously now there is no rematch, or at least for now anyway. There's been a lot of talk about Gervonta now being the face of boxing. Would you make of that? Bear in mind, this is boxing that still has Canelo and Fury and AJ and others. Where is he in this sort of, when you think of the top names of boxing, where is he?
He is a face in boxing, in my view, not the face. I don't subscribe to the fact, how is he the face? Who's he fought and who's he beat to be the face of boxing? They're saying it because, as I said earlier, he's in the slipstream of Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
Could he be the best ever? He could go on to be the best ever. What is he? He's undefeated now in nearly 30 fights. He could easily have another, well, could he have 50? Yeah, if he kept going till,
If he kept going, 2, 3, yeah.
another 10 years, if he keeps going another 10 years, if he goes away for a period of time, unfortunately, and then comes back. But his biggest problem, as I say, how can you be the face of boxing when you're about to go and maybe spend a period incarcerated? In some ways, that aspect of him will make him a bigger star.
Yes.
Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, the guys that make it big in America have often been bad guys. Bad guys. I've met Tank, he probably is a bad guy trying to be good, but it may help his standing and his PR and his promotion, the fact that he has got all this bad boy stuff going on the outside. But the face of boxing, I think maybe in America. Maybe in America.
Yeah. And look, what he's got around him, I guess, especially in the lightweight division, is further fights to cement that, right? To whether it be Devon or Loma, if Loma wins. Shakur Stevenson's the big one, isn't it? And it's interesting, though, how it was the biggest fight. And no belts on the line. No belts on the line. No belts trying to be made up either, which we've seen in recent years with there'll be some sort of WBC or WBA belt given to the winner. No, nothing. And that's interesting because the guy that holds all the belts in the lightweight division, a lot of people don't think he's the best in the lightweight division.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he is.
Yeah.
But that's for him to prove. I still think it's been between Tank and Shakur.
Yeah.
And Tank and Shakur is that's the fans fight in boxing. That's the commentators fight in boxing. It's an extraordinary matchup. I think what I'll say is this: by having that fight at the weekend, and by the fact that Devin Haney defends the belts against Vasyl Lomachenko in Vegas as well on May the 20th, that division is the face of boxing right now, in my view, because heavyweights aren't doing it. They're just not doing it. And it is hugely disappointing that we're still speculating on the chess moves, where people are talking about Saudi Arabia in November and December for Usyk, Fury, Joshua and Wilder. And yet most of them are going to have a summer fight first anyway. So, but what's their summer fights? We don't even know yet. None of them are announced. So those guys have a right and an entitlement, the lightweights, to start saying, yeah, we're the new faces of boxing. We are.